Hi folks, I'm Damon Wood here at Modern Music Studio in Centennial, Colorado. This is going to be a guitar lesson for acoustic and electric on the Pink Floyd song Dogs from the album Animals. So it's going to be broken into different sections. The first section is a rhythm part that gets played actually 6 times in a row. It has an instrumental, like opening sequence. Then there's 2 verses over the same chord progression. Then there's a guitar solo, another verse, and then the band goes into a halftime feel, while the rhythm guitar keeps doing the same thing, but is a little more choppy. Now there's a couple different things to think about with this. The first time, there's a little fill that adds an extra chord. That doesn't get done when the verses have come in later, or even for the choppy part. So we'll talk about the first main chords that we get going with. So the first one is the E minor 9. So that comes from like an E minor chord, but we're going to do actually the E minor 7 part of it. It's in E minor 7/9 technically, you know, they call it a minor 9. So this D right here on the second string, that's the E, that makes it an E minor 7. Adding this second fret here on the E string, that makes it an E minor 9. So that's our first chord. That's kind of how it gets going. Now the next chord is a C add 4. So that's like a C chord, but we have a pinky here on the 3rd fret of the D string. That is the 4th note of the C scale. That's why it's called a C add 4 now. So that's the second chord. The 3rd chord here is going to be, this is like a B suspended second. But it's actually a B, it's also got the E in it because we have the 4/4/2 and open. So that open E would be like the suspended 4th of that chord. So it has the suspended 2nd and the suspended 4th together in that same chord. So, and that has an F sharp bass. So that's a B sus 2 and 4 with an F sharp bass. So if you thought it sounded exotic, that's why it's a pretty fancy chord. All right, the next one just goes down a half step with the same formation. 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 1st, open. That is a B flat, suspended 2nd, add sharp 4th. That E in there is beyond where the suspended 4th would be up there. So, once again, E minor 9, C add 4, B sus 2 and 4 with an F sharp bass, B flat sus 2, add sharp 4 with an F bass. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of it and then we'll do it slower, talk about the strum pattern. But this is a very important part of the song. It comes in later. It's many, many minutes of the song is this part, so it's very important. So here we go. Keeps going around in a circle like that. Okay, so you notice when I did this, so that right there changes the B sus 2 and 4 with the F sharp bass to a B, just a B sus 2 when you're doing that little chord. And that one doesn't have its add sharp 4 anymore. It just has the 2 and 4. So it's a B flat, 2 and 4 with an F bass. Okay, so let's go through that one more time. I'll do it a little bit slower. And let's look at the strum pattern a little bit. So it's like down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. All right, so let's try that. 2, 3, 4. let's move to the next chord. So that's that C add 4. 2, 3, 4. And the next chord, 3, 4. All right, so that's the first part. Here's part 2 of the acoustic rhythm for dogs. This one's gonna come out with a feel like. Okay, so that was the E minor 9 the first time, and we went to just the E minor there and a little fill at the end, so. So that's part of the, this is detuned down to a whole step down, so that when we play what looks like a E minor 9 chord, it's really a D minor 9 chord. So everything, this was really part of the D minor pentatonic scale, but it looks like E. So we do have that tuning thing going on where they tuned some of the guitars down, every string down a whole step. He does a guitar solo in standard tuning as well. So one more time, that new part, 3, 4. All right, and then we get into the part that has the triple lead. So that part starts on a D chord. 3, 4. Little D sus 4 there, back to E minor. Two, 3, back to D, and back to E minor. E minor to the D to the C. We're gonna do 4 bars of C. G, F, G, F, so that's our E minor 9 again. We're going to do that 8 times. Going to C. That's D with a C bass. B major. All right, and then it keeps going with that, but that little riff there was D major, a B major chord. Just kind of walking up the thing. G bass with the same chord, F sharp bass, back to the E minor thing. So one more time, we got 3, 4. Back into that same feel. Doing 8 of these again. Kind of the low part of the chord, and then the high part of the chord. C, D with the C bass. 4 times this time though. B major. And that little walk down. So So after 4 times of that, the verse starts. It should be the 7th time of that E5 kind of build up, C chord, and then 3 C chords at the end of that, B, walk down. So let's see, at that point, that ends like what I have is the 2nd part of the rhythm. So if we move on to the 3rd part, that's where we get, after that riff there, they've got like a E5 power chord rhythm that's like, and then there's a 2nd part to that that's going like a, something like that, kind of with the other ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. So that's kind of like, and then he goes back to these chords 2 times. B sus there to the B, and then the riff. Now that's where the synthesizer part starts. So that's 8 minutes into the song. So we did all of the first 8 minutes on the acoustic guitar, detuned a whole step. The synth part goes for several minutes, like almost 4 minutes. And what happens then is we come back in with that original rhythm that we had. You notice we're not doing that high note thing, because that was only on the first time in the intro. You can kind of chop it up. So anyway, that's that part. Then we go back into that triple lead. So we've got that type of thing. To the D and E minor, 2, 3 to the D, back to E minor, E minor to the D, to the C, 4 bars of the C, G, F, G, F, E minor, stop. Hold that one out. And that's going to be 2 bars leading up into the outro of the song, which is a 2-part. This would be like on a distorted electric guitar, but these parts are like. So that's E, F sharp, and G. E, D, E, back to D. Now the lower part is. So that's B, D, E, D, B, A, B, A. If you put them together, you got. The last one Let's see. Bum, 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 C. B. A walk down. E minor. Song is over. It's all 17 minutes and 5 seconds of acoustic rhythm guitar. There you go. All right, so this is a couple of the chords that come in like halfway through the first verse and some of the fills that happen and the type of playing that he does to fill in around the verses based on those open chord shapes, and especially letting the high E string ring through. You got a lot of high E strings ringing through all of those last 3 chords of the 4-chord sequence. So let's get into that. First 2 verses. We're going to come in with the B chord, B major. B flat major. And then we're going to get into the softer fills in the background type thing. High notes of that first chord. Next chord. That high E string will ring a lot through these things, like I said. So most of what he's doing with the fills there is just look at the chord and imagine if you already have an acoustic guitar playing a lot of heavy strums on that, you can kind of sit with an electric guitar, just add some nice fills that sustain, especially with those open strings, they ring out nicely. That kind of thing. So that's basically what he's doing. One other one that I liked, I wanted to mention, was when he gets into like a halftime feel. That's a nice one there, and that goes into that second chord. And that's just open, 2, 3, 3 and 1 there. So that'd be like. That type of thing. All right, moving on. All right, so here is a slowed down version of how to play that solo by David Gilmour. So this guitar is tuned in standard tuning. There's a solo later that's going to drop all of the strings down to D like the acoustic guitar was tuned in. So we're going to start out. This is kind of part of the D minor pentatonic scale. We're starting on the 9 note. Sliding into the 9th fret of the G string, sliding into the F note from the E note, on the G string, 9th to 10th fret. Then we're on the 12th fret of the E string, so. Okay, so that was 13, 12, and 10. So our whole first thing is. And then this next riff is going to show us that we're in D Dorian. Because you see you got that B there, so that's the Dorian mode. So we got, once again, so far we got. Okay, our next part's gonna go. So all together we got. Now here's a neat little thing. He's got 10, 11, and 12 for a rake. So let's see, all together we got. Okay, so I'm going slow, so that should help out. I'm going to go through all that again, and then we'll go to the rest of the thing. So if you want to play along, 2, 3, 4. So that's a really cool little chromatic there. Nice little ending. All right, so that's the first solo from Dogs. Moving on to the next solo. That's going to be the triple solo, so there's 3 different parts going on. We're going to get a little loop going and be back to you shortly. So that's that part of the triple lead. there's the second of the double leads. So here's that solo, slowed down and explained. And this is the one where he has taken the electric guitar and detuned it a whole step. So it looks like he's playing in the E minor pentatonic off the 12th fret, but really he's still in D minor to go with the song. So here we start. That's kind of your typical bending from the flat 7 up to the 1. Little vibrato. And then we're going to this 19th fret. We're going to do that 1.5 step bend. And that's a little half step thing at the end there, 19 to 18 and back. And then that gets a little more edge by hitting like that chord there, those 2 12s. And then we got this double stop bend thing. So once again, that's the 14th fret going up, 15th fret staying, to the 12th fret, and then a pull off, and then like sliding up into the 14 to the 12. 14 on the B, on the A string, B note, 12th fret on the D string, the D note, D string. So now we're going down lower to the 2nd fret. Okay, so let's go through all that again. So we got a little descending bend at the end of that sustain. And then that double stop bend thing. Now we're going down to that first position. And he's got that flat 5th pulling off to the A string there, that B flat. And those 2 notes are like the top of a D chord up there, 15th fret and a 14th. And that goes to the 17th fret up there to the A note. Now you're gonna do a little descending slide thing. So that's kind of cool when it goes down and then it goes up and back and then go to a lower string. And then we got so that was a little half step bend. I also find it interesting that he's bending with that. I mean, I don't know exactly what fingers he's using, but it seems like you would use that ring finger, which is prominent for bending. So he's kind of bending up and down on that first string, going right to the second string on that same fret, maybe with the same finger and going back up. That's how I do it. Now you could do that with the pull-off thing. Obviously you want to milk that bend right there. Then we're going back down to the first position. You can kind of bend them up, kind of bend them down, kind of pinch it. That's the 7th fret on the 2nd string and the 3rd string. So we got then we got this time we're gonna go. So that was 14, 15, 17. Then we're going up to the 19, we're gonna do a half step bend. Then the 17, we do a whole step bend. 15, we do a whole step bend. 14, we do a half step up and down. That kind of thing. So so let's look at the that last riff. It's the whole tone scale, starts on the 19th fret. So that's one of the lines. The other line is the 19th fret on the 2nd string, same type of riff. And the one on the top string, the 3rd one, starts on the 18th fret. Okay, that one on the 3rd string. So that one has a little bit of a lead that ends that bit and it takes you back into the other triple harmony part. So that would be the end of all the leads. All right, well thanks folks. This has been Damon Wood from Modern Music Studio here in Centennial, Colorado. And we hope you enjoyed it. Look for more videos from all the instructors here on the YouTube page. And this has been Dogs by Pink Floyd. Excellent guitar work by David Gilmour. Excellent writing by Roger Waters and the gang. So signing off. See you next time.